So in a previous lesson, we discussed how to solve one-step equations. This video is going to be how to solve two-step equations. And so we're just going to jump right into it, and I'll give you the first equation. 3x minus 4 equals 3.5. Now, when you're solving equations, remember you always use the inverse operation. And when you have more than one step, you're always going to start furthest away from the variable. So you're going to start with what is the furthest away from the variable. In this case, it's going to be minus 4. Now, the inverse of minus 4 is to add 4. And remember, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to both sides of the equation. Minus 4 plus 4 is going to cancel, leaving me with 3x equals 3.5 plus 4 is 7.5. All right. Now I can do the inverse operation of multiplication because now all I have left is 3x. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Dividing by 3 and multiplying 3 will our inverse operation, so that leaves me with x. So now all I need to do is 7.5 divided by 3, and that would give me 2.5. Okay, and then we can do another example. Let's start off with 2x divided by 5 plus 7 equals 9. All right, remember you always want to start off with the operation that's furthest away from the variable. So we're trying to get the number furthest away from x, which in this case would be 7. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. A positive 7 minus a 7 cancels out. So that's going to leave me with 2x divided by 5 equals 2. Now, there are multiple ways that I can work this problem out. Whenever you see a fraction times a variable, you can multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 2/5 would be to multiply by 5 over 2. And then I would do that on both sides. So I would multiply both sides by 5 over 2. That's going to have the fractions cancel out because 5 over 2 times 2 over 5 is equal to 1. But remember, we never write 1x. We just write x. Then when I multiply a whole number times a fraction, I multiply the whole number times the numerator. 2 times 5 is 10. Then I still have a denominator of 2. 10 divided by 2 would be 5. So x is equal to 5. Now there is another way that I could work this out, and I'll show you that now. And it would cause us to make multiple steps. I want us to get back to this place where we have 2x divided by 5 equals 9 minus 7, which is 2. I can break this down into multiple steps. I see that I have 2x divided by 5, so I can multiply both sides by 5. All right, once again, when you multiply and divide by a number, that number cancels out, which leaves me with 2x equals 2 times 5, which is 10. And then I can lastly divide by 2, and I would end up with x equals 5. So remember, whenever you have a fraction in front of the variable, you can either multiply by the reciprocal, or you can take it step by step, multiply first and then divide. You get the same answer either way. All right, I'll do one last example of solving two-step equations. We have 10 minus 4x equals 22. Remember, you always want to start with the number furthest away from the variable. So we're going to subtract 10 from each side. A positive 10 and a negative 10 are going to cancel. That leaves me with a negative 4x equals 22 minus 10, which is 12. Now I have a negative 4 times x. The inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1, so that's going to cancel out because remember we will never write a 1 in front of a variable. We'll just write the variable. Now I have division, but this is dividing two integers. One is positive and one is negative, so I'm going to make my triangle. The 12 is positive, so I've used the positive. The 4 is negative, I've used my negative, which lets me know that my answer is going to be negative. And then 12 divided by 4 is 3, so my answer is a negative 3. X equals negative 3. So you may want to try some more example problems on your own. Don't forget that you need to take notes, and you also need to complete a whisk for this video.